Hello everyone, welcome to the weekly video recording sessions for you. This is where, as usual, we're going to review the stock market sectors, which are the stronger sectors, which sectors are coming up, which sectors are going down. Okay, so as everyone know that this is a short week as we are going for a Chinese New Year break for the Singapore market, the China market, and the Hong Kong market. Okay, but nevertheless, let's keep an eye on all those counters that could be potentially moving, whether it's this week or maybe next week. Okay, so as usual, we're going to start off with STI, and then we're going to talk about various sectors like the banks, the properties, the tax, the transport sectors, and then of course the glove sectors as well. Okay, so without further ado, let's talk about the Singapore STI index. So what do we have here is we have a cautious market today. We have a higher opening from the index. It went up to as high as 2959 before it start to retreat towards the end of the day. Now, bear in mind tomorrow morning is going to be the first bank result announcement, which is DBS. Okay, so DBS is going to announce their result before the market open, and you can sense that the banks are trading cautiously today. Okay, so let's take a look at the index first. So let's complete the index analysis, and then we're going to take a look at the banking sector. So what do we have here? We do see that today the STI tried to break up from its resistance at 2940 around here, and then the breakout failed as it closed lower. So would this be a failure of a change in trend? Well, this is the first sign. Means that the breakout trying to form out a new uptrend has not been successful for the time being. Okay, so why do I say that? Now, why do I say that STI is trying to form a new trend? Because you can see that here, this is the first low that it has tested. Then as it rebound, it pulled back to form the next low. So we have a small higher low over here. Then this is the breakout where we see higher high. Now, nevertheless, it doesn't mean that STI is going to be bad. So also depends on tomorrow's result from DBS. If it is buoyant, we may see STI close higher tomorrow. So if we have a white candle closing tomorrow, we may see uptrend continue to form up, and then we may have a pullback and then rebound over here to continue its uptrend. Now, of course, the best scenario for the index to move, as I've observed for many years, is this kind where it doesn't really have a lot of pullback. So usually when you start to see the index rally and pull back, right, sometimes you may start to experience more selling instead of upward movement. So tomorrow is a crucial moment for the index. So just watch out for the result announcement from DBS. Okay, so having mentioned about DBS, let's take a look at DBS chart. Okay, so I was asked whether DBS will continue to go down lower. I really don't have the an answer as yet because I don't really know what is their result. But of course, there are some analysts projecting that DBS is going to come out with a good result, a result that the market will like. Okay, so let's see where would be DBS tomorrow. Okay, if the result is good, you can expect that it may retest resistance at 2672. Now, if the result is so-so, right, mediocre, or the market just doesn't like it, then do watch out for the support at 2479. Now, if the market thinks that the result is good but not compelling, means that doesn't warrant a rally as yet. It may just do a small pullback towards this level, which is around 2548, before it start to rebound, probably maybe due to a result announcement from OCBC and UOB, where they may surprise the market with better than expected result or better result than DBS, then we can start to see that it try to challenge 2646 high and break out and goes beyond. Okay, so if we do see that, of course, uptrend can continue. Now, so the key things to look out for tomorrow, the results. Okay, so before 9 a.m. you should know what is DBS result. Now, of course, DBS is not the only banks that has been trading cautiously. OCBC, you see a higher opening, but the market is cautious about its upwards movement, and we can start to see people tend to take profit towards the end of the day, and it closed slightly above yesterday's close, but you see a black candle. So this tells you uncertainty, because coupled with these black candles, we do see shadows, upper shadows and lower shadows. So the market is not sure whether DBS is going to announce good result or not. So tomorrow, very crucial. So if DBS has a very good set of results, OCBC and UOB will potentially move up as well. Okay, so we can see that the banks tomorrow may have a white candle. So UOB similar, we have you know, a lower shadow and upper shadow over here. So we have an upper shadow and lower shadow here, which is also telling you the uncertainty. Again, need to add on is the market sentiment may also be affected by the overnight US performance. So if US is not really going down, or it's flat, then tomorrow we will look at how DBS perform. Now, if we suddenly see a huge drop for the US market, say the Dow dropped 600 points, the DBS result may cushion a little bit on the downside, but still we may see some selling action coming in. But all this we have to look at, you know, a combination of possibility. So so tomorrow morning seems to be crucial. Okay, so watch out for UOB. If it tests resistance at 2405, then we may see this resistance, or rather I would put this way: if it tests 2405 again, then we may see the resistance breakout. But if you fail and then test support, which is around this region, okay, this region, we may find another opportunity for entry if there's a sign of a rebound from the support over here. Okay, so similar for OCBC. So what do we have again? We look at this resistance at 1052, right? Fail to break, and if the pullback comes to this support level again, right, which is around this 1017, right, we may look at the resistance get tested again if there's a rebound. So 1052 may be tested again. Then DBS, I mentioned again. Okay, so just to conclude the whole banks, right? So watch for how the movement, so which level it tests, how it close, then going forward, where new support may be formed, and then once the new support is formed, see is it a higher low. If it's a higher low, we have uptrend sign. If it is the same low, we may go for sideways. If it's you know, a break of support, then we may go for downtrend. Okay, so very crucial for you to take note. Now, just very quickly, I'm going to cover the tech sectors, because I find the tech sectors is pretty weak. Seems like the market is rotating them out. So take some time for them to recover. So why do I say that? First, let's start with the big boys. So we have AEM. Okay, AEM breakout here was pretty fantastic. As it continued the next day, you start to see a long upper shadow over here. So this suggests a huge selling pressure especially if you look at the volume, right? So the closing isn't that pretty, and the shadow, of course, definitely shows us a huge selling pressure over there as well. Now, the continual black candles over here definitely doesn't spell bullish for this counter for the time being. Now, but the good thing is, the good sign is the volume on these black candles are not high. But that doesn't mean that the index, or rather the counter will rebound immediately. So we still need to see whether this support at 422 can hold or not. So if it can hold, what the counter needs to do is to negate the whole bunch of sellers over here. So if they can, right, go into this zone again, okay, this upper shadow zone with a solid white candle, of course, we will be able to see it continue to go higher. So how does it look like? Now, look at this candle with long upper shadow. Look at this white candle. So this white candle actually cannibalize these sellers over here, and then eventually we can see AEM continue to go up higher. So this is the kind of effect that I want to see going forward. Okay, so failure to do so, of course, you can see that there isn't any buying back to this zone over here from this part of the chart. Then you can start to see that there are more downward action for AEM before it start to reposition itself for another recovery. So of course, AEM is a fundamentally strong counters. So if it's not at the moment for it to go up, it may drift down lower, reposition itself, restart the whole chart, and then start to move up. Okay. Now, then the next big boy is venture. As you can see, venture over here is also uncertain, pretty uncertain, because again, do you see this long upper shadow, and then we don't see a clear movement over here. So if we have this kind of chart, tends to tell us that their consolidation, especially if I connect the lower high and the higher lows together, so there is some so-called crunch over here where the bulls and the bears are fighting. So probably got to wait for a clearer picture before we can establish where venture is going. So we need some form of breakout with surging volume. Then we have the next bigger counter is nano firm. Nano firm is looking the same, but one thing that we just want to note here is we are looking at this counter, although it's not as bad as this so-called AEM or venture look, because we don't see a long upper shadow, but we have to see whether this counter can form higher low around here or here or here. Okay, so if it can, right, form a support over here and rebound, of course it can resume back its uptrend. But if it continue to drift lower and come back down to this low, then we may not be able to see a uptrend continuation. Maybe it's going for sideways, or maybe it's going for downtrend. Okay, so this we have to assess the chart, but I can still see that the market is still favoring this counter. I don't think it will go downtrend because there isn't any bad news. Probably the market is also waiting for the first result announcement for nano firm. Then we have UMS. UMS pretty stubborn at its resistance level. Right, as I covered last week, UMS is primed for a breakout, and you can see here that UMS actually stuck at its resistance, consolidating its resistance itself. The only thing that I don't like is this, when it breaks out over here and fail, the volume gets very high. So during the intraday, it actually breaks out, the volume was searching. So it actually tells us buyers are coming in to participate. But however, seller overwhelmed. So at the end of the day, UMS closes lower. So that this volume that was created ends up to be a selling volume instead of a buying volume. So, and then coupled with long upper shadows today, it shows more uncertainty. So what UMS needs is a solid breakout above the resistance with searching volume again to overcome all this seller. But failure to do so, of course, breaking below this level at around 134, we may experience some more downside. But ultimately, we don't want to see UMS come back down to 127. So once it come back down to 127, right, it's going to be a topish patterns going forward. So hopefully we don't see that. Now, Valuetronic, very similar to this nano firm. Right, one thing that we don't want to see is we don't want to see this Valuetronic come back down and test this level, right? So this level is very important because once it come down and test this level, then we start to have some descending triangle look-alike pattern, and then it may break down and go down lower. Okay, so as you can see, all these chart AEM, UMS, Venture, they are not very strong. Okay, and of course, if I add in Franken, right, it can also sums up that how the uncertain the market is on the tech sector for the time being. Okay, so first of all, you can see Franken again, long upper shadow, breakout fail, then start to pull back. So where does it pull back? So is it going to hold firmly at 139, or is it going to go slightly lower? But the most important thing is it doesn't come to this level at 134, because once it comes to 134, it is definitely not going to look good, especially like I say, very similar to UMS, is going to form topish pattern. Okay, so keep a close eye on how the development of the tech sectors would be. Now, today I see a glimmer of hope for the property sectors and the oil and gas, or now we have Keppel Corp out of the oil and gas, probably the energy sector. Okay, that is where I find it more appropriate to call it right now. So let's take a look at the property sectors. We have Capital Land. Capital Land today have a very nice rebound. Look at volume start to increase slightly, and this nice little okay, what we call maybe consider it a good white candle may suggest further upward movement. If this counter can test 3.22, right, we may have a mini double bottom and then start to have a change of trend. So let's illustrate a little bit over here. And then once it breaks out over here, then of course, we may start to see more upward movement, and then 3.36 may be tested again. So very similar to UOL, which is also one of the blue chips. So we may see double bottom as well if it can retest its resistance level over here at this point. Okay, so once it breaks out, then we may start to see more upside. The only thing that I am uncertain about city development is because of the impending announcement that they are going to make on their sincere property China investment. But nevertheless, we do see a nice white candle over here. If we follow through the whole property sector, you know, if Capital Land test resistance, UOL test resistance, then city development may test resistance, and then may have some upside towards 760 level. Okay, let's move on to the oil, energy sector. So we have Keppel Corp. Well, of course, Keppel Corp is also part of the property sectors as well. So it is a conglomerate with property Keppel Land. Then recently they ditched the REIT business where they don't want to do anything with the oil. What they want to focus in is the renewable energy, the clean energy. Okay, so we see Keppel Corp rebounding from its 100-day MA, very decent closing today. But unfortunately, the volume hasn't picked up yet. But then the thing is, one thing that you need to take note about Keppel, it's not all about volume. Why? Because you can see over here, there is a strong up run, isn't it? You realize that the volume as it starts its run isn't that high. Okay, so of course you may just want to capitalize on the price movement. So what do we want to see is during this movement they still break resistance, so and holds as support. So the key thing here that we are looking at is it managed to hold as support, having a higher low. Next is to break out from its resistance along the way, where we have 516, 522, and 535. As it breaks out higher, then we may really see this counter go back to 548 levels. Okay, so let's see how Keppel Corp perform. Now, Sam Marine, now with Keppel Corp out of the picture, it can be officially declared as number one in the world because it was number two. Okay, so where is it going to be? So today we can see a very optimistic movement with higher low and attempt to break out. No doubt it did not break out successfully, but it may still break out. Okay, and that that is the higher high that we want. Okay, over here. So once it start to form higher high around here, because we may start to see some uptrend. Now the thing here is with Keppel Corp out of the REIT business where they bear the huge impairment losses, there isn't anything for Sembcorp Marine to do going forward. Like what I'm saying is, like for example, merger, take over, because with number one our picture, they are officially number one, and then they don't have to worry that someone snatch their business going forward. So the so-called potential merger or whatsoever may not happen going forward. So what we want to really see is there any pickup of the business, and then or surprise the market where they also declare they are out of the REIT market, and then the new transformation would take place, and then we got to see what are the new opportunities going forward. Okay, of course, Sembcorp industry themselves are in the renewable clean energy, and it managed to hold at least above its 100-day MA, but it's not very convincing though. So the next thing that it must do is it must go and test its 20-day MA, which is pointing downwards. Its 50-day MA is pointing downwards as well. So does that mean that Sembcorp industry is going for a downtrend? So it depends now. So if it can pierce above this MA, which is pointing down, then we may see some recovery. Okay, so we really have to see more action from Sembcorp industry in order to decide where is it going to be. Now, for the past 2 days, we see some resurgence in the transport sectors, starting with SIA, which has a very strong breakout over here. You can see the nice white candle piercing above the 20 and 50-day MA, MACD crossover. But today, although higher opening, very restricted trading, and then and it forms a doji, so it shows certain uncertainty over there. So it shows uncertainty, and whether tomorrow it can continue to go up. So it has I mean it really shows uncertainty. Okay, so it must really show something tomorrow. So we really need a solid candle, like a white candle, to clear the doubt. Okay, so similar to sets over here, you see the upper shadow, which tells us that it's really uncertain. But the good thing is at least it closes above its resistance, so we can consider this as a successful breakout as well with high volume. The success will be confirmed again, or we call it double confirm, if sets can go back to 418. Okay, so I heard something like a digital passport where it contains all your vaccine health information, so that we are able to travel freely nowadays. Okay, so not too sure when is it going to be implemented, but definitely market is taking it well, and market is really hoping that the travel industry can restart again. Comfort Delgro, out of the three, right, recently, if you were to notice SIA, if it start to run, set starts to run, ComfortDelGro will start to turn positive as well. So, but then it is a disappointing close. Higher opening, went up to test resistance, very close to 20-day MA. It's 20-day MA over here. But the closing back to yesterday close it tells us weakness, especially if you look at the volume, is not really low. So ComfortDelGro seems to be a counter that doesn't look bullish for the time being. and I think it may go into what we call the ICU mode, right? Despite that, we see some oversold indication, right? But if you are traders that really look for excitement, ComfortDelGro is not really the counter that you should go with. Okay, so watch for the support. Very strong support over here at 100-day and 200-day MA, and also the resistance which is very close. You need to pierce above in order to be bullish, but unfortunately, you can't do so as yet. Okay, so still have more work to be done. Now let's go through the glove sectors here. So we start with top gloves. Selling pressure all the way. But the good thing is the selling doesn't comes with high volume. So here's the thing. Now let's go through this. When we talk about the price action, so the price level $2 to 216, for example, this is called the results. Okay, so the result is and then the result itself, if it's strong, means we have a long black candle. If we have a short black candle, then the result is not strong. Then after that, the volume itself, we call it the effort. Okay, so what's the effort needed for the market to really create that long black candle? So if you see long black candle and the effort, the volume is low, it may not necessarily mean good thing as well. Okay, especially it continue to form long black candles with lighter volume. So so as we can see over here, the selling magnitude has already eliminate the chance, almost eliminate the chance for it to form a higher low. Okay, so once it start to come back down to $2, then it may go into a sideways mode if it swing up back to resistance. Now, if it breaks below this $2, which is a major resistance over here, then we may want to target lower, because the next key zone of support is really over here. Okay, so it's a very testing moment for top gloves. So is other gloves counter as well. We have UG. Despite good result, we see selling pressure. So we have the result announcement gap up, but then quickly selling pressure comes in, and then more selling. The candle over here, this black candle, considered significantly long. The volume is not very high, so without any effort, the market can just push it lower. So it's not really a very good sign. But of course, this is inconclusive until we see how it reacts at support level. So if it managed to hold at support level, right, it's still okay. But then where are the support levels to look out for? So it has broken down is 76 support. So the next support will be 70 cent. So if it come down to 70 cent, then a potential change in trend is on the card, because we no longer see higher low. Now, if this counter don't come down to test this support level, then and rebound straight away up, well, uptrend continues, then we may see more upside. Okay, then we have reverse stone. Reverse stone is pretty bad as well. We start to see signs of downtrend with lower high, then lower low, and then if we rebound, they get bounce to 150, then come back down again, then it's pretty bad. So this counter has a glimmer of hope where it managed to hold at this level at 138, and then next is the rebound. So if the rebound fail over here, then we may see downward action. But if the rebound is good, back to the high, of course, very seldom see this kind of chart, but then I do see it occasionally. So if we really have this kind of action, then of course it can really kill all the shorties and push the stocks back uptrend. Then finally, we have MACTEX. Okay, so we do see MACTEX weakness over here. We have a lower high, right? And then it's coming to this low again. So once it breaks down, then we may see a lower low. Okay, so overall, the tech is weak. The gloves are weak, where we see some lights in the transport, and then the energy sectors and the property sectors. So tomorrow, keep a watchful eyes on the bank's DBS announcement. Okay, so this comes to an end to my video. So take a very good care of yourself and enjoy your Chinese New Year, a long weekend ahead, and we will start the real battle next Monday. Okay, so with this, like to say wish you a happy Chinese New Year and good night to you.